friend Sebastian here, curator of the SYMPHONIC podcast and composer of the Kalasin series of albums. Back here, of course, with an album review this time. And where else would I be on a rare night off work other than in my crypt with its ever-changing art and colour dynamics, and it's my little sanctuary. So I'm really happy to be back. It's probably only been a matter of days since my last video, but they've been long days. Anyway, I digress. So we're talking about a guy called Konradt here from Kentucky. He started a solo project called Relentless Pursuit only a few months ago, so I'm really interested to see what's been achieved in barely a few months. He plays all of the instruments. So we're talking guitars, piano, does the vocals, bass, does the majority of the audio production, and he composes lyrics, and he's done all of some videos and bits and pieces online. There's going to be some links and stuff below. But the album is called Through Confusion, which there's a name that alludes to some kind of journey, and it was released on November the 15th. So it is, well, it's 12 days old by the time I've got to do my review. So we're going to start out with a track. The title track the title of this track certainly got my attention, and it's called Flamboyant Intoxication. that's that. Wax was certainly, well, flamboyant probably isn't the right word, but that was definitely out there. Those transitions were sudden, and what I really liked is the transition back into some of this heavy maelstrom, like guitar riff stuff going on. I mean, that was just like rip your throat off. You know, it reminds me of some like internet radio stations that used to play sort of like, you know, sort of hardcore, brutal sort of death metal, you know, and you'd hear them at sort of low fidelity, but it was just all like really like aggressive. And yeah, I like this idea. I like this idea of sudden transitions. It's something I like in my own music. It's something I love hearing. The production side of it in earphones feels very, 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 very well kind of balanced and put together. I'd say perhaps, you know, on a critique note, I think some of the clean vocals need some attention on the production side, particularly where there's, you know, layering involved. But, you know, that idea of going to sort of piano melodious, you know, clean la 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 la. So let's rip your face off. Yeah, absolutely. They're very, very good, very good. I believe it's actually the first single from the album. So yeah, it's a good one to open with. Choice of instrumentation, strings and pianos. I found the strings were a bit synthetic, and I don't know if that's by design or by budget. You've got to remember, this is a project that's we started from zero and got to here in the first, you know, in a few months, as he says. So, you know, some huge credit there. But those are the areas that I'd look into to really uplift this project. But okay, I'm going to move on. Let's get the next track. The title got my attention and became a choice, and it's called Self Ate the Devil.
In my own despair, in my own fucking loss, now I only to redeem myself in you. Now it's done, self-integrated enemy. If it was selfish, it's undevil. Then someone would, that's no compensation for all my sins.
again, we identified, those sudden transitions. It's almost like having a heart attack, this kind of music. And it must be exceedingly fun to write, because when you do these sudden transitions, I can't explain it, but as a musician, it's so fun to work with them, because we're sort of taught and told we should sort of, blend things in, and, but you get an idea, you've got to do a bit of darkness, a bit of light, and I think this is, perhaps where Matthew Konradt is going with this. It's very much dark in shade. One thing I didn't pick out on is the 2 layers of the dark voices. I'm not going to sort of imitate them, but give it another listen, you catch. I like those. The compatibility of those works really well. Again, I'm going to comment on that violin at the end. It's a little bit too general MIDI, perhaps, for those who remember GM MIDI, sequencing and all that. I'd like to see an upgrade on that musically. Matthew, I can draw your attention to some free plugins and bits and pieces, maybe if it's an avenue that you haven't explored. But that track was as good as the first, and again, it just reminds me of the early 2000s. Listen to these astonishingly heavy internet radio stations. I wish I could remember a name of them just to see if they're still going, but maybe you get the idea, or maybe I'm just spouting a load of waffle. Also, I spoke about the vocal layering. Again, the same kind of attention, but not as much. This one seemed to deliver it a bit better. There was a lot of rumble also in that low end, but there was some amazing stuff done with the bass. There was some really sort of moments, and there was some really really deep moments that caught me surprised, and I think I went, "Oh, nice, oh, bass face, yeah." And that rewind effect, slow down effect, that it keeps you on your toes, doesn't it? And that's what I kind of am enjoying about this album and Matthew's music here. On to the third and final track, which I will play in this review video, such it is, and hasn't the time gone quickly? It seems like I've only been here for 5 minutes, and I haven't. But it's again, that's another thing that I like about this kind of music, is it keeps you on the toes and it makes the time pass quicker than listening to your 4-chord progression pop music. Where a 4-minute track seems to feel like half an age and grown a beard and we've lost a working hip, and then it's over and it's still futile. Anyway, the final track, Into the Void.
Oh my.
Humanity, not blaming me.
that was now that is the album all come together. That is the whole project come full circle. Everything. I don't know whether this was the last track he produced in the kind of compositional phase before he structured the order, but to me this feels like it's even addressed, the comments that I made about the strings. Even they sounded like they had treatment. The low end was better, still a little bit of a rumble in a couple of places, but it was much more punchier. And there's so many little tricks this guy employs to keep you on your toes and keep things surprising and keep things fresh, and it's fucking brutally, like, insanely heavy. That is so aggressive. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's like Napalm Death made an energy drink, and this guy drunk a gallon of it. And oh, there's the quote for the there's the quote for the social media. Yeah. Man. Okay. So I'm even more of a convert, after hearing that, and I'm so much more of a convert to this style and this sort of underground production feel that Matthew delivers after hearing that. More tracks of that ilk, and it's gonna be bang, absolutely banging. I'd like to see where Matthew goes next. Absolutely huge full credit to one man, and who knows what it is that people go through, or the sacrifices that people make, or the kind of the rebuilding that people kind of go through and engineer in order to go, okay, I'm going to invest in my music, I'm going to do everything, because usually in cases of persons such as Matthew, myself, and many other individual musicians, we just go it alone. We do our own path. We write the guitar parts, we do the bass parts, and we record that. We invest in all the bits and pieces, and the instrumentation and the plugins, and then we invest in the production, and then the marketing, and then the kind of promotion and all this kind of stuff, and we go through that whole journey on our own. And to produce an album of any quality, or to produce an album of any standing, regardless of the genre, is quite a feat, and it's something that I certainly would encourage more people to do. I spend most of my time through here trying to encourage other musicians to wield their abilities and make the most of them, as a way of kind of traversing life and its struggles. So full credit to Matthew for it's been a few months, and here we are, album 1. And I can also understand that urge and compulsion to go from, I've got these ideas, get them all down, album out, and there's quite something to be able to do it in a short period of time. But there's also quite something in doing it in the second time round. You learn from all of that speedy, undirected, unharnessed sort of energy that you had in the first project, and then you look at your second project, or you get onto your second project. So and things are still have that energy, but perhaps a little bit more sort of controlled, and some more ideas and thought, and some tidying up, and sort of learning from not mistakes but past experiences. So I'd be really interested to hear from you, Matthew, what you're doing now. So anyway, that's enough of my rambling. Support a fellow musician, and it's been really interesting to hear something so different, so aggressive, so manic, but very well executed. And links below. Subscribe, follow, make sure you do, and keep an eye out for the next video. Man, I love I love the stuff that gets sent to me. I really do. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.